Surah As-Saffat. Surah 37, The Ranks. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, by those angels who range themselves in close ranks, and those who drive away the wicked with reproof, and by the reciters of the reminder, your God is one, Lord of the heavens, and the earth, and everything between them, Lord of the easts. We have adorned the lowest heaven with the beauty of the planets, and guarded it against all rebellious devils. They cannot overhear the higher assembly, for they are pelted from every side, driven away, and will suffer eternal punishment. But if anyone does succeed in snatching a glimpse of such knowledge, he shall be pursued by a piercing flame. So, ask those who deny the truth if it was harder to create them than all the other things we have created. We created them from sticky clay. No wonder you are surprised as they laugh with scorn. When they are reminded, they do not pay heed, and whenever they see some sign, they ridicule it, saying, "This is plain sorcery." What? When we have died, and become dust and bones, will we be brought back to life again, along with our forefathers? Say, yes indeed, and you will be brought low. There will be but a single blast, and then their eyes will open. They will say, "Woe to us! This is the day of reckoning."
It will be said, "This is a day of judgment which you have been denying." But we shall say, "Assemble those who did wrong together with their associates, and what they worshipped, besides God, and lead them to the path of the fire, and stop them there for questioning. But what is the matter with you that you cannot help one another?" Indeed, on that day they will surrender themselves, they will turn upon one another, and question one another. They will say, "You used to come at us from the right." They will say, "No. It was you who would not believe. We had no power over you, but you yourselves were a rebellious people. But now our Lord's word has come true against us. Truly, we are bound to taste the punishment. We led you astray as we were ourselves astray." On that day they will all share the punishment. That is how we deal with evildoers. When they were told, "There is no deity but God," they turned away with disdain, and replied, "Shall we then give up our deities at the bidding of a mad poet? Surely, he has brought the truth, confirming those who were sent before. You shall surely taste the painful punishment, and be rewarded only according to your deeds."
But the chosen servants of God shall have a known provision, fruits of various kinds, and they shall be honored, in the gardens of bliss, seated on couches, facing one another. A drink will be passed round among them from a flowing spring, white, and delicious to those who drink it, causing no headiness or intoxication. With them will be spouses, modest of gaze, and beautiful of eye, like closely guarded pearls. They will turn to one another with questions. One of them will say, "I had a friend, who used to ask, 'Do you really believe that, after we die, and become dust and bones, we shall be brought to judgment?' Then he will say, 'Shall we look for him?' Then he will look, and see him in the midst of the fire. He will say, 'By God! You almost brought me to ruin. If it had not been for the blessing of my Lord, I would also have been taken to hell.' Then he will say, to his blessed companions, 'Are we not going to die, except for our first death? Are we not going to be punished?' Truly, this is a great victory. It is for the like of this that all should strive. Is that better by way of hospitality or the zakum tree, which we have made as a test for the wrongdoers? For it is a tree that springs out of the bottom of hellfire, and its fruits are like devil's heads.
They will eat from it, and fill their bellies with it. Then in addition to it they shall have a draught of boiling water to drink. Then surely they shall return to hell. They found their fathers had gone astray, so they are rushing to follow in their footsteps. And assuredly many of the ancients went astray before them, though he had sent warners among them. See how those who were warned met their end. Not so the chosen servants of God. Noah cried to us, and how excellent was our response. We saved him, and his people from great distress, and we made his offspring the only survivors. We left mention of him among later generations. Peace be upon Noah among all the peoples. That is how we recompense the righteous. He was truly one of our faithful servants. We drowned the rest, Abraham was of the same faith. He came to his Lord with a sound heart. Behold, he said to his father, and to his people, "What are these that you worship? Would you serve false deities instead of God?"
What do you think of the Lord of the worlds? He looked up at the stars, and said, "I am sick," so they turned their backs on him, and went off. He turned to their gods, and said, "Do you not eat? What is the matter with you that you do not speak?" Then he turned on them, striking them down with his right hand. His people came rushing towards him, but he said, "How can you worship things you carve with your own hands, when it is God who has created you, and all your handiwork?" They said, "Build a pyre for him, and throw him into the blaze." They wanted to harm him, but we humiliated them all. He said, "I will go to my Lord, he is sure to guide me." "Lord, grant me a righteous son." We gave him the good news that he would have a patient, forbearing son, and when he reached the age when he could work with him, he said, "O my son, I have seen in a dream that I am sacrificing you. So tell me what you think of it." He replied, "O my father, do as you are commanded, and God willing, you will find me steadfast." When they had both submitted to God, and he had laid his son down on his face, we called out to him, "Abraham, you have fulfilled the dream."
It is thus indeed that we reward those who do good, that surely was a manifest trial. We ransomed him with a great sacrifice, and left him thus to be succeeded by a group of followers among later generations. Peace and salutation to Abraham. That is how we recompense the righteous. Truly, he was one of our faithful servants. We gave Abraham the good news of Isaac, a prophet, and a righteous man, and blessed him, and Isaac too. Some of their offspring were good, but some clearly sinned against their souls. We also bestowed our favor on Moses and Aaron. We saved them and their people from great distress, and we helped them, so that they were victorious, and we gave them a book which helps to make things clear, and guided them to the straight path, and we left them thus to be succeeded by a group of followers among later generations. Peace be upon Moses and Aaron. This is how we reward those who do good. Truly they were among our faithful servants. Elijah too was one of the messengers. He said to his people, "Have you no fear of God? Do you call on Baal, and abandon the best of creators, God your Lord, and Lord of your forefathers?" But they rejected him.
And thus will certainly be called to account, except the chosen servants of God. We left him thus to be succeeded by a group of followers among the following generations. Peace be on Elijah and his people. It is thus indeed that we reward those who do good. Surely he was one of our believing servants. Lot was also one of the messengers. We saved him and all his people, except for an old woman who stayed behind, and we destroyed the rest. You pass by their ruins morning and night. Will you not take heed? Jonah too was one of the messengers. He fled to the overloaded ship, and then they cast lots, and he was the one who lost, and the fish swallowed him while he was blaming himself. Had he not been one of those who acknowledged the glory of God, he would certainly have remained inside the fish till the day of resurrection. But we caused him to be cast forth onto the beach, sick as he was, and we caused a gourd tree to grow over him. We sent him as a messenger to 100,000 people or more, and they believed in him, so we let them live in ease for a while. Now ask them whether your Lord has daughters, whereas they have sons. Did we create the angels females, to which they were witnesses?
No, indeed. It is one of their fabrications when they say, "God has begotten children." They are truly liars. Has he chosen daughters over sons? What is the matter with you? How do you form your judgment? Will you not then reflect? Or have you clear evidence? Then produce your scriptures, if you are telling the truth. They claim that he has kinship with the jinn, yet the jinn themselves know that they will be produced before him, for judgment. God is far above what they attribute to him, but not so the true servants of God. Neither you nor what you worship can lure away from God any, except those who will burn in hell. The angels say, "Every single one of us has his place assigned. We are those who stand ranged in ranks. We glorify God."
They say, if we had with us a book like that of the people of old, we would surely have been God's chosen servants, but they have rejected it, the Quran, and they shall soon learn, and surely our word has gone forth respecting our servants, the messengers, that it is certainly they who will be helped, and that it is our host that would certainly triumph, so turn away from them for a while, watch them, they will soon see, do they really wish to hasten our punishment? When it descends on their courtyards, how terrible that morning will be for those who were warned, so turn away from them for a while, and watch, for they will soon see, glory be to your Lord, the Lord of glory is far above what they attribute to him, peace be upon the messengers, and praise be to God, the Lord of all the worlds.